Hey there, it's Brittany Chavers and I am back with Jesse James Beads. Today we're going to be making a bracelet and probably a necklace, but I have some really cute stuff to show you. I have this mini mix in orangery. I have this Coquette mini mix, a couple of boho beads, a really cute pendant, and some filigrees in two different shapes. So for the bracelet, I'm going to grab my E6000 and some of my filigrees. I want to grab the metal beads out of both mixes, and look at how beautiful these are. Oh, I love them. They have enameling on them. They have little tiny pearls. We've got pink and green, or pink and blue, and then green and orange. We're going to use a mix of those. So I'm going to take my E6000. I just have a little mini tube. I noticed that I use more of the mini tubes than I do of a larger tube. The larger tubes tend to go bad pretty quickly on me because I don't use them as much. And then I'm going to take my beads and I'm going to glue those to my filigrees. So I want to decide, I think I'm going to use the larger one because all of my beads fit pretty well in the center of the larger filigree. I'm going to take my bead, and we don't need to have to string through them anymore, so it's okay if some of the glue settles in the hole. And I'm going to center that on my filigree. Like that. Look how beautiful that is. And I'm going to turn that upside down and put it off to the side so it can dry. I'm going to do that with this round bead as well. It's so pretty. I'm going to save these two for, I'm going to save these two for our necklace because I really like those and I think those will be pretty with the bow. And then I'm going to make several more filigrees out of the rest of these beads. All right, next we're going to work on the necklace. So we obviously have our beautiful bow as the focal. Then we're going to take these smaller filigrees, but you can also use the larger ones if you want to just keep the same theme going. I'm letting those dry for about 25 minutes before I work with them again. I'm going to take my bow and then I'm going to arrange my smaller filigrees around my bow. So we're just going to put as many as you'd like going up from the bow. Okay, like that. Now I do want to work in these beads, so I'm going to do 2 filigrees and then one of those right there, 2 filigrees and then one of those right here, and then I'm going to make a chain. But we're also, it's not just going to be the filigrees, we're going to make it a little bit more interesting and use our mixes. So in the mixes we got a bunch of little tiny pearls and some of these acrylic flowers. So I'm going to take a ball head pin, I'm going to take a pearl, and then my flower, and I want the cup part of the flower facing the bead that I put on the bead, the head pin. I'm going to take my filigree, you see that it has a hole right in the center there. I'm going to stick that on like it's a bead as well. And then I am going to do either a wire wrap loop or a simple loop on the back. I think I'm just going to do a simple loop. Just bend that at a 90-degree angle, cut off the wire, and then take your round nose pliers and bend that back toward where you made the fold. Okay. And you kind of want to do this pretty tight so your flower moves minimally. We're going to do that on every single one of these filigree, but I'm going to intersperse pink and orange. So we have an orange, the next one's going to be pink, or vice versa. You can just use whatever colors you want, but I have both of these adorable mixes, so I'm going to use both colors. I'm going to do that and I'll be back. Okay, I've also, I've gotten all those finished, and then I've also made some connectors out of some of the beads in the mix. And I've done that by taking an eye pen, putting on one bead, and then bending that at 90 degrees, cutting this to about 1/2 inch and then curling that back. So I did a simple loop here. And we're just going to, like I said earlier, make a beaded chain. So I ended up putting the pink at the front, and I did a couple green beads, a couple pearls, and we have our little bow. I also have a bunch of jump rings. We're going to use those to attach just so that some of the connection points are a little bit more fluid. Sometimes if you connect right onto your eye pin, it can flip-flop a little bit more, and I don't really want a necklace that flips over as much. So I am going to use some pliers to open up some jump rings and attach my beads together. And then one of the pearls, and close it back up. And then we'll just go up the line with our beads and our jump rings, connecting everything together. Then I'll show you how to put a clasp on, and then we'll move on to finishing our bracelet, and I have a pair of earrings that I'm gonna make as well. Okay, here's our beautiful necklace already put together. It's so pretty. And just want to show you up close this gorgeous new chain that we made out of all of these components. So lovely. And then I'm just going to grab a clasp, a jump ring, and then a bigger jump ring to do the closure. I'm right-handed, so I always put the clasp on the right-hand side of my necklace. And then we just open and close those jump rings, and that makes our closure. And you can absolutely add chain to the back to make it a longer necklace. You can add more beads, you can add more pearls, whatever you'd like to make it your own. But this is just a little design tutorial using the beads that I had. There we go. I love her. She's gorgeous. So I'm going to set that aside for just a moment, and I'll include photos at the end. I'm going to come back to my bracelet pieces that we made earlier. So we had 6 of these, 4 rounds, 2 diamonds or 2 squares. Let's see. I'm going to attach them with jump rings. And then if it's not long enough to go over my wrist or go around my wrist, then I'll just add some more of these connector beads like we did in the necklace. So I'm just going to take, again, my jump rings and attach all of those together. And now I have it around my wrist. There is a little bit of space. I'm sorry, I have paint on my hands. And I'm going to just grab, let's see, what bead do I want? I want to use, let's use these little gold beads that were in the mix. I have some 22 gauge German style wire. So put my bead through the wire through the bead, do a 1/2 inch on one side, 1/2 inch on the other side. Do that for both beads. Make your loop. I'm going to cut off my excess wire there. And if you don't want to use beads, you can also just use some jump rings and put your clasp on that way. So I don't know if I need 2 beads. We'll see if we can do this with 1 and a clasp. I think that's going to be a little tight. And then I'm just going to grab a little magnetic clasp. And put that on. Okay. Absolutely gorgeous. So pretty. Isn't that gorgeous? Adorable. And I potentially could take off one of those beads, but I like how it kind of slinks around the wrist. Super gorgeous, customized, love it. So then we're gonna make one last thing. I know we've done a lot in this video. We're gonna make one pair of earrings. We have this beautiful boho bead. I'm going to put that on a ball head pin. This earring's going to take you less than 5 minutes. And then there were some there were some spacer beads and bead caps. I'm going to grab one of these little bead caps, one of the pink pearls from the mix, and then another bead cap. Then we're going to do just a simple loop at the top, like we've done everywhere else. Now, if you want to do a wire wrap loop, totally up to you. I don't have enough on my head pin to really get a good wire wrap. Then we have our cute, this could be your earring. Honestly, that could be your really cute earring, but I'm going to step it up a notch. I'm going to open that back up. Take another one of our rectangles and put that through. And then we'll take an ear wire and put that on our ear wire. I love these earrings. I honestly don't know which piece of jewelry is my favorite out of the 3 pieces we just made, because they're all so elegant, also vintage inspired, but get that modern pop in there. So look how cute those are. Oh, I love those. And then like this is perfect princess theme. You could paint these, you can do whatever. But look how gorgeous those are with our beautiful bracelet and our beautiful, really feminine necklace. So thank you for watching. Thank you to Jessie James Beads for having me back, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.